Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. This is my first broadcast of 2021, my first live broadcast, I should say. I'm very excited to have you all here. We have 5 entrepreneurs coming on this evening who are going to tell us what they're up to, tell us their dreams, tell us what their problems are, and we're going to try and help them. I need your help to help them too. Of course, as always, I'm going to give my opinion. I'm going to try and give my suggestions to these 5 entrepreneurs, but it would mean the world to me if you could stick around, help them as well. I think we're all feeling it wherever we are in the world. This coronavirus has really impacted us. I guess we're all hoping 2021 will be different. In London, where I'm based, I'm in North London, we've just gone into tier 5, and basically it's crippling businesses and crippling people that are trying to make businesses work. And we know that small businesses in particular are the lifeblood of nearly every local economy. So I really want to do 2 things on these broadcasts, I guess. One is help anybody out there that wants to start a business, do that, get the help they need, get the resources they need. I really believe no one's born anything. No one's born a lawyer, no one's born a doctor, no one's born an entrepreneur. We all need training, we all need support, we all need insights and knowledge. And I personally am giving up my time for the last 12 months to help people start a business. And I'm doing it for free because I'm going back and helping the 15-year-old me. I didn't have any help when I started my first business. In addition, I want tonight to try and help anybody that's actually struggling with a business also get some help. So we've got 5 entrepreneurs coming on. Each of them, we're going to give them around 15 minutes worth of support. And as I say, it would mean so much to me if you guys could also suggest things. So I'm going to hear their problems. I'm going to give my opinion, but I'll be looking out on the thread. I've got a couple of moderators on tonight, Ryan and Talia, who are listening in, who will help me make sure I don't miss any questions that you have, which I will answer at the end of today's 5 entrepreneurs whose attention I'm giving. But I would also really appreciate it if you guys could give your opinion or give your suggestions. And I'll be looking out for your comments in case I miss a trick, which happens. But I really want us as a team, I know hundreds of people I can see now online, really as a team, us helping these entrepreneurs. That's my dream, that we have a community of people with community of knowledge that are willing to give their time and advice and maybe network to helping these entrepreneurs that are sometimes struggling or sometimes have an opportunity, and we can help them open up that opportunity. So let's go guys. Let's see if we can bring on our first guest. Now I'll be using Discord, so let me just make sure I have it. So I think our first guest is Kate. Kate, are you there? You can unmute yourself, I think. Kate, are you there? Maybe you need to go out of the room and in the room again. I'm not sure. I can't hear you. Did I break TikTok? I don't think I broke TikTok. Are you guys there? Well, maybe while I'm waiting for Kate to come on. Kate, can you hear me? Maybe while I'm waiting for Kate, I can see, is Josh, you're here. I can see you too. So why don't you jump in, Josh, if your mic works, and then I can help you first. Josh, can you hear me? I guess that Josh, can you hear me? Let me just... Did I? It's all going so well. See, technology, guys, you've got to love it, haven't you? No? Okay. Josh, can you hear me? Okay. Well, it seems like technology is not letting us down a little bit, but this is a test run, so, you know, bear with me, guys. I've got, hopefully, these 5 entrepreneurs coming on. Just checking what's happening with the moderator. Ryan, can you hear me? Yes, I don't know why it's not working. Is it me? Okay. I wonder if I'm trying to, yeah, I think there's too much going on. Let's try this. Is the room working, Ryan? Can I speak to Kate? Is it Kate's microphone that's the problem, or is it my system that's the problem? Okay, so definitely not the perfect broadcast, is it? John, good to hear it's working on YouTube. I'm just trying to make the meeting room work for the people that are coming on for help this evening. So this is a test run, so forgive me, this isn't going perfectly to plan with the technology. I guess in lockdown as well, I don't have the tech support that I would normally have, so I don't know. Ryan, can you speak at all? Can I hear you speak and see if it's actually working? Can you come off mic? Okay, so hi guys, can you hear me? Hey guys, I'm sorry about this. So technical difficulties of the first night of trying to do this new live system. But you've got to try these things. But I don't know. Josh, can you hear me? Talia, I wonder if it's worth jumping back to Zoom for this. I don't know what to do now because no one can seem to hear me, and I can't seem to make it work. Any thoughts? Okay. Maybe I'm going to close this and come back in. See if it makes any difference. Hi guys, can you hear me? Kate, can you hear me? I'm meant to be helping you now, but I can't seem to hear you, so I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, maybe I should be. You're right. You know what? I'm actually using StreamYard, so I could also try that. Hello, Ryan. Ryan, can you hear me? Ryan, can you hear me? Okay. Talia, I'm wondering if I should just give my StreamYard to Kate and those guys, and I can just talk to them there.
Heard you briefly then.
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. What happened?
Oh, still lagging, Simon.
It's lagging, is it? Right. Okay. I'll go the other way. Talia? Guys, I'm very sorry, I can't seem to make the technology work. So now I've just invited people to the StreamYard. Hopefully that will make it work. This is a test tonight. Let's see if it makes a difference. Can you hear me now? Sorry guys to keep you waiting. I appreciate some of you guys are still listening in. I'll try to make it more entertaining for you in a moment. Talia? Seem to make anything work. You know what, guys? I'm going to end the StreamYard and see if that's it. Yeah, I am going to end the broadcast here for a minute. I'll be back in a second, hopefully, if all goes well. Oh, hold on. Let's see what Talia's saying. Hey, Talia. Hey, Talia, can you hear me? Okay. Oh, Talia, there you are. Talia?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's not working on Discord, is it? I don't know
No,
why.
no, I don't know why it's not working for you.
Can you, I just sent the Discord link. Can you send the link to the guests and just say, I'm a bit running behind now, but they can still join?
Yeah, I'll send that link to them now.
Okay, yeah, and I'll just wait online then.
All right. Give me 1 second.
Sure. Okay, guys, so we have 5 entrepreneurs coming on that we're helping. So I'm just hoping we can get that working in a minute. I'm sorry for the delay. We were trying a new system out, and I don't know why it's not working, but it's not quite working. So come back to that later. And we're just gonna send the link to come onto the broadcast directly. So it'll just be a moment. In the meantime, I can have a look to see if you guys have any questions. You guys that are listening in now, can you reboot? Yeah, that's what I'm doing, John. Thank you. I am using StreamYard. Yeah, I think maybe just the broadband is losing it a bit. I guess we're just inviting the guests to come on a different way. Q&A. Number of lines created, isn't it? Well, that's weird. I've never seen that before. Okay. Sorry, guys, just a minute. I'm waiting for. So just while I'm waiting for the guests to come on that have asked for some help this evening, I can see a question from Yusel. How can I increase participation in my Facebook giveaway for kids' books? I'm not a fan of Facebook these days. I know I'm broadcasting on Facebook at the moment, but it definitely is becoming a very big pay-to-play system, which is a bit frustrating because it means quite often that you have to have big money to make it work for you. And often the biggest, then you have to charge more, and then the whole dynamics of it all for me fall away. But I think definitely if you're willing to pay to play, there's a way to do it. Of course, I hate this model, but the funnel marketing model does work. A lot of people give books away for free and include post and packaging. Not my favorite method, but it's one way to go. I always think about like creating community. So maybe you can give away free books, especially now, and talk about it as a value add around lockdown. And you're giving away free books to support people right now that might be struggling to entertain their kids and make it a competition. And then hopefully people will appreciate that generosity and tag you and share what you're doing. Maybe that's useful. My first entrepreneur who's asked for some help is now here, so I'm going to bring Kate on, and she's been waiting patiently now while we trying to sort out the tech. So I'll keep looking out for your questions in the comments, guys. But let me bring on Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Nice to meet you, Simon.
Likewise. I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting. We were trying out Discord this evening, but it didn't really play out. So sorry about that.
Can you hear me properly? Because I can't really hear you. No, wait. Can you repeat?
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you fine. Okay, I can hear you. So how can I help you today? What's going on?
Okay, so my question is, how can I plan ahead for an exit strategy? How can I make sure that I'm doing everything properly to, if I want to plan for an acquisition?
It's a good question, and there's two answers, or two things that spring to my mind that when you ask this question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I think you should be careful when building a business that you think about exit too much. It's a little bit dangerous because ideally you want to build a business that you love, that you never want to sell. Because ironically, if you have that attitude, you can also get more for it. You know, my business Fluid, I didn't particularly want to sell it. When PwC suggested buying it, I guess it was easier to negotiate because they wanted it maybe more than I wanted to sell it initially. And I think, you know, I did sell it, but my point is that there is an interesting dynamic where you also need to make sure that you don't want to sell it because that can create value. If you are looking for an acquisition, then sometimes that makes you cheaper. But it also can mean that you can run out of power. So what I always suggest to people is that if you're building a business and you don't love it, maybe you find someone that would love it and would love to run it forever, and you make it an income stream for you. That's one way to go. I think there's always going to be an issue of, I don't know why you want to get an exit, but when you get investors, sometimes they may want an exit, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's good for the business to have an exit. So that's kind of my first thing. Now, I know that you're asking, how do you prepare your business for exit? So I could answer that more directly by saying to you, what you can do is you can go to talk to companies that you think would buy you and ask them, what would you need to do to make you an acquisition? Does that make sense?
Oh my God, I can't hear you. What did you say at the end?
Where are you in the world? Where are you? I feel like
London.
You're in London. See, it's the internet. It's the internet in London since lockdown. It's just broken, hasn't it? I think everyone's gone online. Something wrong with it, right? But I said,
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, now you can go. Yeah, I think it's working.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the London internet has got into serious overload because of the lockdown. That's my guess.
Yeah, everybody's at home. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's why we have a slight technical issue today, because normally there's no problem. So don't know why. Anyway,
I want to, because I have another question as well. So
what was the last thing? Have I given you the answer to your question? Did I to exit?
yeah, because when you said like if I go and speak to the companies that I think would be a good idea, like maybe I can partner with them, like suggest something.
Yes, good idea.
I don't know.
Yes, good idea. Yeah, I mean,
I can put it like
yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yeah, we got a bit of a lag now on the system, but yes, I think that's a good idea. And I think that can also help you build a relationship up with potential partners. That never does any harm. So the worst is you have a relationship with your potential acquirer. But I mean, I did that. We worked with PwC before I sold Fluid to PwC. And so, you know, that definitely created a nice relationship, that the company working with the company, right? So, but I think I wouldn't go in there with, we would like to get acquired personally. I think that's something you've got to watch out on, because what if you don't sell? Then you're going to feel like, you know, trapped. And you don't want to feel that way. You want to build a business you love. Does it make sense?
Yeah. I also have another question, because I think I have like a window, 15 minutes. How can I know if a person is the right person to be part of my team?
Yeah, this one's a good question, and that's very hard. I personally have hired about 5,000 people in my career, and so I've also struggled with getting this right. I think the key, in my view, is being a good employer. So it's easy to blame someone else for things going wrong, but when I review where things have gone wrong in my own management, it's often my fault. So, for example, I haven't been clear on what I want them to do, or my expectations of their performance, or I haven't been clear on, in particular, I think in my early career, the biggest mistake I made is my businesses didn't have a strong purpose. And I always say that you should hire around purpose, not don't manage people, manage purpose, because then you ultimately people are driven themselves to achieve. If you're permanently trying to motivate people, if you're permanently trying to make it work, trying to make someone work hard, it gets very tiring for the entrepreneur. So the key, I think, is to hire people that have the same moral code as you, that care about the purpose of the business the same as you do. And personally, I've also learned as I built businesses that I prefer to hire people with some experience, if possible, of particular. My companies were always, small companies becoming big companies, but sometimes people wanted to work for the big company. They kind of had an image that the big company was better. So I always like to hire people that had the experience of working for a bigger company and could therefore see the advantages of working for a smaller company. If you hire someone often straight out of fresh into the world, they often don't know the benefit of working for a small company, and therefore they can end up hating the things with a small company. Whereas when you work for a big company, of course you end up loving big companies or loving small companies. That's my experience. So I think getting people that have experience related to what you're interested in, your purpose, have the same moral code as you, and then have experience that's going to stop probably what I would say 50% of people's problems is, that people have a dream that something else over there is better than what they've got with you. Then if you can manage that well, I think you've got a higher chance of the relationship working out. Did you hear all of that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I also have like another fast question. Do I really need to have a lawyer, to hire a lawyer in the beginning?
What's your business, Kate?
Because I'm trying to, it's in the sports industry. So I can see that like all the sportswear are expensive.
Yeah.
People. So I wanted to create like it's like a membership website where you can pay monthly, and at the fixed date you receive what you want. Like leggings. So I'm gonna start with that, with an item, and it's like a fixed price every month. I didn't decide yet because I need to speak with my supplier. And you choose which range, which color of the product you want, and you receive this, like at that price every month, that product. So every month there's a different product, but you choose, it's based on a membership.
Okay.
Because I can see that like, it's really expensive to buy gym clothing every time. It's like all of the brands, it's like really overpriced, and it's a big industry. And no matter if the gyms are open or closed, people are always training, right? So they need it and they want it. And I'm targeting women,
Yeah.
especially, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
think.
what I want.
And who would you see as an acquirer of that business out of interest?
Well, Gymshark. I can see
competition.
It could be. I mean, you never know. But the thing is that, yeah, what I wanted to ask you is like, when do you think that, like, based on your experience, you need to look for investors?
Yeah, well,
I want to keep my equity.
Yeah.
On it. In the meanwhile, I don't want to go straight for.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your plan is, what your long-term plan is. But I personally, I can say I've invested in 68 startups, so I can say this: it's not always good to have an investor, right? It can sometimes end up meaning you've got a new boss if you do it wrong. And equally, sometimes an investor will talk about exit when you need to talk about building a business that you love, and they'll be talking about money when you'll be talking about often value. Now, that's not always true. There's a lot of good investors out there, a lot of good people that would just want to help you grow the business. But there's always that pressure to put the exit slide in there, which puts some pressure on you financially, right? So anyway, I think your question is when to get an investor. I think there's two answers. One is, if you can find people that can bring value to you, that can make the business more successful. I always think I'd rather own 5% of Facebook than 51% of MySpace, right? So I'd rather have my business succeed and less equity than lots of equity in the business is failed. So if you can find people to fill your gaps, so for example, co-founders, good, like you mentioned, team members that deserve equity, that's a good way of also incentivizing people. That's often, in my view, the first 2 or 3 steps. I've actually had people that have come on as co-founders in my businesses who have also invested. So they often matched me or put money in alongside then joining the company, often taking a lower salary and helping the company work. And so, that's another way to go. Instead of looking for external investment initially, maybe you can get internal investment, people that will actually going to help you with the operations. Now, in your field...
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, what I was thinking is but an investor has more experience. So maybe the investor can see something that I cannot see. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Even if I'm super prepared, I don't have experience, so maybe I can see something and I might do something wrong.
Yeah, there's some truth to what you're saying, but I would also say there's a confidence problem with you there. I would say that you know more than you think, and no one knows. It's like when people tell me they're experts on TikTok. I've got 220,000 followers on TikTok, and I've been going 6 months on it now, and I know it inside and out, but I'm no expert. Like no one's an expert on anything. Now, if Ben at Gymshark said he wanted to invest in your business, I'd snatch his hand off. Absolutely. I think there's certain individuals and certain businesses that can support what you're doing, and it will be a no-brainer. And why don't you try and reach out to him and see if he's interested in supporting you? But equally, I think that you know your business better than your investor. There won't be many investors that know more about it than you. And as you get stuck in, you might realize, for example, that you're not good at the finance. So you need to get a CFO, and then the CFO can go out and raise money. You may need help with branding or marketing, and then you bring in someone and maybe they invest in the business and become a shareholder, and they're your co-founder. Those are the sorts of relations. Now, you can get what you're talking about from people like me that are coming on live here now, giving you free advice. You can get mentors. You can also get people that are on your board of directors or on your board that give advice and support. There are many people out there that are really experienced, that maybe they're retired, but they've been in your industry. If you reach out to them and say, would you like to be an advisor? And one day when the business does well, I'll reward you. You don't have to commit to anything. Most of the time people are willing to help, especially cool young startup businesses. You'll be surprised how much people will help you without any expectation in return if they're decent and not trying to sell you something. So just maybe
the internet's really...
Yeah.
Oh
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you get my advice about the
completely.
directors and the mentors? Did you catch all of that?
Yeah, I heard.
Is it useful?
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna
have time because I have another...
Okay, I feel bad because other people are waiting. Is it a quick one? Okay.
Yeah,
quick one.
Quick one. Yeah, so I heard about accelerators. What's your opinion in this in incubators and accelerators? Because I heard about you at the University of West London. I saw you on the webinar.
Right.
Where you were.
Yeah.
Where you attended.
Yeah.
And my university has an incubator. And what do you think about it? Do you think an incubator is useful? If I go there?
The short answer...
Because I heard some stories about that.
Right, yeah. There's always going to be stories, but I think it depends on the accelerator, and it depends on the incubator, and it depends on what you're trying to achieve. Now, there are different types of incubators, right, and accelerators. and even the models are different. So there are a lot of accelerators now that help you but don't take any equity. And I think that, for example, there's quite a few corporate accelerators. So if Gymshark had an accelerator, I would definitely suggest you go in it. And most of the corporate accelerators now, although they again, you'll hear rumors depending on who goes in. I think a lot of the time when people go into these accelerators, their expectations are too high, and then the people running the accelerators, they haven't limited the expectations of people coming in, right? So I guess if you can go and build the business on your own and have a co-founder and build it up as I've just described, it's better just to go and do that probably. Having said that, if you're new to entrepreneurship, I think some accelerators and some incubators are really good. So my personal opinion, just my personal opinion, I think Y Combinator is amazing. I think Techstars is amazing. I think, again, you just got to go in there. What is it you want? So if you go into Y Combinator, they tend to have all the relationships with the investors. So if you see your business as a high investment need business, then it makes sense because they can introduce you to all those people. Forget everything else. If they don't do anything else for you, they just do that. That's pretty powerful, I think. Having said that, these days you can go and crowdfund or Seeders or Indiegogo or Kickstarter, and you can also get in front of potential investors, right? So it really depends on you.
Yeah.
I would just talk to past people that have gone into those accelerators or incubators and just ask them their opinion. And you'll find, my view is you'll find that people that went in there, for example, if you go into a corporate accelerator and you're trying to make a relationship, like I know one that's got an accelerator with American Express. If you want to get in with American Express, if you want to get in with their potential clients, if you're looking to create something maybe that relates to, would be an acquisition target for American Express, then it makes total sense to go into their accelerator because then they set up a system for you to meet the senior people in that organization, which may be hard for you to do on your own, right? So if Gymshark have an accelerator, I think you should go in it if you can.
Yeah. So it depends on. Yeah. I don't know if I will research it. I don't think so. But yeah.
Again, going back to what you were asking earlier, if you're going to target
So
position, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Spend my life saying that now.
can
Can
now.
you hear me?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Is it useful?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, why don't you let me know how you get on? And I know it was just a short chat tonight to give you some answers quickly. I'm meant to be finished at 9:30. I've got 4 more people to come on. So I'm going to leave you, Kate, but do stay in touch and let us know if we can help you more, okay? By the way, Kate, someone said Dragon's Den. I'm not a big fan, but what do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. Thank you. If I have any other questions, should I just?
Yeah, just email us. Email us. That's fine. All right. See you, Kate.
Okay. Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
There we go, guys. That's Kate. Next is Josh, patiently waiting. I can't see your camera on though, Josh. Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hi, Simon. Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
We're battling through the technology here. It's driving me a bit crazy with bad internet and.
Yeah, I saw the frustration. I'm sorry about that, but it seems to be working.
Not your fault. Josh, how are you doing? What can I do to help you today? What's happening?
So I've got a few questions, but if I start off by just describing like quickly where I'm at. So like growing up when I was younger, I did lots of sort of small businesses, whilst, like on the side while I was at school. Then decided to try get like a degree from like the best uni I could. So sort of focused on that for a couple of years or 3 years I was there. And then in my final year, did an internship in London and realised like corporate London was not for me like at all. So spent 3rd year trying to start a business, which I've been doing for like the last sort of 2 years. But now it's at the stage where like it's doing quite well. And I'm just trying to, but it's like quite a part-time thing. It's like an e-commerce business. So like I could sort of almost spend like no time on it really. If I put a bit of effort into sort of maybe hire someone to do certain roles. And now I sort of still live at home, and I'm just trying to work out what I'm sort of doing it all for, and what the sort of next thing could be. And so hearing you having set up like 18 companies like that is the sort of next step for me of starting something new and just trying to work out what like your mindset was when you were in your 20s.
Well, first of all, Josh, again, you know, well done. I think it's impressive that you've managed to set up a business that's generating, you know, £500,000 turnover, and you're at a stage where, you know, you could have someone else run it. I think that's so impressive. But I guess a lot of it, I mean, the way I've always done growth is kind of two ways in business. One way is the existing business I've got, I've added things on. So I had a business called Fluid, and I added on something called Coaster Ads, which was a media. So we were an agency, creative agency, and then we owned the media. So then we had relationships with brands, and we were helping them get noticed. But then we also then had our own media. So that fell with the same business in a way, because it was the same clients. And then I had a separate business called Nest, which I then would invest in other people's businesses and take an equity stake in those companies.
Yeah.
Okay. So in a way, the ones that I was working on all had to interlink somehow, otherwise I go insane, right? So if I'm working on them, they have to have some link, right? And then if I'm going to externally get involved in things, still I want the business, my core business, to have some value to the businesses I'm getting involved in externally. Maybe in your case, one other way to look at it would be, if you know what you would like to do next, then let's say it doesn't have anything to do with e-commerce, Amazon, then bring someone in to run what you've got, set them a mandate that if they double the business under their management, then you'll give them 50%. Then you haven't lost anything and they've gained something, right? And therefore you can then stop running the business, let them run it. You've created I'm going to call it, I hate this terminology at the moment, but this kind of like, you've created the beginnings of financially free.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a bit against it at the moment, because I think people are selling a lot of scams around it. But anyway, the financially free model, you know, and in a way, if you still own the business, but you're the one that's built it, 0 to 1 is the hardest thing I think to do in business. You know, this is sometimes my beef with Gary Vee. You know, like, he talks about building businesses. He was given a family business that had £3 million turnover, and he grew it. Great. I'm telling you, the hardest bit is 0 to 1. You know, getting it from a business that doesn't exist to a £3 million turnover business, that's the hard bit, right? Actually, once you've got a system in place and people, you know, people want the product, and you know people are willing to buy, and you have a system, bringing people in to run it, and it's actually, I'm not saying that's a different type of talent, but equally, I think it's actually an easier thing to do than 0 to 1, right? So if you built something 0 to 1 and that's your ability, I would go build something else 0 to 1, and let someone else now scale it.
Yeah, and I think that is the part I enjoy. I think.
So find the person that enjoys the 1 to 10.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how scalable really the e-commerce stuff is from where it's at. And so another question would be, so because with it, people often, well, one route with it is you set up the Amazon business, and it's a sort of, if you've got a few products that do well, and then that's worth 3 times annual profits, so pretty low as far as businesses go, but like it is worth something. And I don't know whether, I mean, I'm not really considering selling it at all, but like, what would be the sort of thing, the option, like, how would you weigh it up, whether to or not?
I think it's not worth selling, is my instinct on it, because I believe all the businesses I've ever been involved in that have been sold, including my own, there are 2 reasons people buy a business. One is brand, so it has a brand value. So in other words, you're a trusted brand, you know, Nike.
Yeah, that's something you can't really build on Amazon, unfortunately. That's
what I'm saying. So that's why I always tell people, like, I'm a bit negative on Amazon, because I see it as a dead end eventually. And it's amazing that you're coming on and agreeing, because like, you've built a business on Amazon, but I can also see a benefit to it if it's like training wheels for building a business, you know, because you've got to start.
that's how I viewed it. As in, you can, because all the analytics are so public on Amazon, so you can go on any product and see what it sells. So I could look at all my competitors can look at me. And so if you like do the analytics right, you can in a few months get from nothing something going, which is the appeal of it. But it then can't really grow into a brand or anything.
Yeah, I think the best option is to probably do a couple of things. I mean, you're young, so one thing is you could just enjoy the moment, take the profits, have a good life, work out a lot, and then spend the next year, working out what the next big thing is. If like having the freedom to plan something out is quite amazing. And in the meantime, try to find someone that can run it. Will take a bit of time anyway, but that's what I would do if I was you.
What were you doing in your 20s, if you don't mind me asking?
Pardon?
What were you doing in your 20s, if you don't mind me asking?
I moved to Hong Kong. I sold my business, and I moved to Hong Kong at 24 years old. I left the UK at 24, and I went to Hong Kong. Best thing I ever did.
Was that fluid?
No, I had a accommodation business called Accommodation Express, and basically before the internet, I was selling hotel rooms. Hotels were full, people would ring up. But I basically moved to Hong Kong. I kind of got offered a marketing support contract out there, and I had a friend living there too. So I just went out there thinking for 9 months, I'd have that experience. And when I got out there, I think I saw the real world, Josh. I realized what the world was really like. I think living in England for 4 years of my life, you kind of get trained that you think business is done a certain way, you think this is how things work, and then you get out to new markets and you realize just how different it is. So for example, in Hong Kong, no one ever judged me by my age. They only judged me by my ability to execute, which for me was perfect. For someone like you, Josh, just, that's what we want to be judged on. We want to be judged on our ability to do things, not on our age, right? And I do find in England sometimes, you're not going to be a CEO of a company in the minds of most companies until you're in your 40s, 50s, right? So, so anyway, when I got out to Hong Kong, it just opened up my mind, and I saw Hong Kong as this, it taught me stuff. And I think that's what I always suggest to young people now. If you can, go broaden your horizons a bit. I know COVID's put a bit of a damper on this idea, but frankly, it makes me in a way suggest do it for sure, because in Hong Kong, they've got near zero COVID cases at the moment. Or I'm not even hating Hong Kong. Maybe Hong Kong's the wrong market now, but Bali or emerging markets like Vietnam, your mind will be blown by not going on holiday in these places, but experiencing these places. And your business mind that is already there because you built a business that's doing amazing stuff. You'll be amazed. You'll come away with so many ideas and so many. You can translate stuff that's here, there, and vice versa. Once you've been there, you can bring stuff back here.
Yeah, and my girlfriend's, well, mine and my girlfriend's plan is, so she currently works at an investment bank, and is pretty miserable, like so miserable at it. But she's planning to leave in May, and then our plan is then to do some traveling, potentially live somewhere abroad, but so worth considering.
I mean, I don't know if you know what you want to do next, Josh. Do you know what you want to do?
I've always liked real estate. I know you're not so keen on it, because my family have done, as in relatives have done well in it, and my degree was in it, and I've got work experience was in real estate. So I can sort of see that as a natural progression to invest profits into that.
I'm not against real estate. I think we had this conversation before. I'm against people getting into debt for the sake of owning a home and getting trapped. That's all. I don't want people to buy a house, live in it, and think it's going to make them happy. And I meet so many people in their 30s that said, I wish I'd traveled, I wish I'd started a business, and they didn't do any of these things because they had a mortgage to pay, which was monthly. So they couldn't take any risks on their monthly income. They couldn't scale. I lived in my first office, right? They can't do that. They're not going to rent out their lovely home they bought for themselves, are they? And live in a shed. Lifestyle inflation hits you quickly when you buy your own home. So that's my issue. I think as a business, there's something in it. I think it's a bit like Amazon, the Amazon business. The only danger, Josh, is you could end up in the same problem, which is anyone can do the property business.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also don't think it's particularly fulfilling. You're not building brand and there's not much purpose.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, to be honest, I made all my money by building brands. The actual businesses themselves, month to month, I made £500,000 one month in profit, but I put it all back into the business.
Were your business mainly like providing services, like to businesses?
Big mixture. I think I've had product businesses, I've had service businesses. The interesting thing about the service business, I just said this today on one of my videos. There's, you can be in the service business but still make hundreds of millions of pounds.
Yeah.
So, for example, the guy that painted the wall at Facebook, when Facebook opened up their first office, there was an artist who was hired to paint the wall, right? And he said, I don't want a salary, just give me a bit of equity in this startup. That ended up being worth $200 million when Facebook went public. So that's my model, in the service business. When I had my agency Fluid, it was always about, yes, we get clients that pay us, that pay the bills, to cover all the salaries, but we try to have real upside by having equity in businesses.
And for those sorts of businesses, do you think, I would have assumed that there's a big advantage to having worked in that industry and then being the person who's needing that service and then going and creating the service? So as from my position, I wouldn't really know. I don't have the experience. What businesses?
I knew nothing about every single business I've ever started. I knew nothing about it. I mean, to be honest, I've started a media communications business with what I'm doing now, in a way, and I knew nothing about any of this stuff 8-9 months ago. A bit like you probably knew nothing about Amazon. You just, like you say, you just look at the data and you put it out there. It doesn't work. You put it out there again. It doesn't work. None of the businesses I've ever been involved in, I had any background in before I did them. And actually, that was one of the reasons my agency business did so well. Like Ogilvy and my big competitors. Go on, Josh. I look like you're going to say something. Did I misunderstand your point?
No, you understand my point. I was just going to say, so you can go from like not knowing anything, and then presumably there's like a steep learning curve and investment of time before there's any revenue. And like, how long was that process for these businesses? Each
business is different, and I think that's something to keep in mind. And frankly, luck plays a role. So sometimes, I mean, the thing I like about service companies and my agency business was that and my very first company was a gardening company. And I built it by knocking on someone's door and saying, hello, I'm a gardening company. I'd like to take care of your garden. And they said, yes. They said, how much? I said, £300. They said, yes. I said, I need a 50% deposit. They said, yes. I then did that and got 10 clients in a day, and then took that deposit money and I went and bought the equipment. And then I went to the garden, realized I couldn't do it on my own. So then I actually had to hire people. And then when I got the final payment, I paid those people. And, within 3 weeks, I had an up and running business hiring with 5 people working for me.
Yeah.
And the good thing about service businesses is that you can start a company that way. My creative agency is saying we won CNN as a client, and then CNN pay us to do a certain thing. That allows me to hire people, but people then have capacity to do other things. So we can then create other things, win other clients, build our own products, right?
Yeah. No, awesome. I'm aware you don't want to take up too much of your time. So one quick last question. Sure. So as I said, my girlfriend works at investment bank, and so I've started this business to sort of give myself sort of the freedom and happiness to sort of do what I want, and like I would like her to sort of be part of that. And so then there's this sort of issue we're having where she obviously would need to pursue her career and like wants to be sort of independent and everything, but then also really doesn't enjoy her job. And then I'm here sort of wanting us to potentially work together on what I'm doing, but then she's then sacrificing her. Like, it's sort of a bit tricky.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, I worked with my business partner Helen in Fluid for 10 years, and then we fell in love and got married.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of working with your partner. The key is you've got to have very clear job roles and very clear, ideally, different skill sets. If you have the same skill set, then you need to be doing different businesses.
I'd say we have a different skill set.
Good. And make sure that you have respect for each other's skill set, and you give each other breathing room to make errors within your skill set. So, and then you can have an amazing partnership. Like my now wife, my business partner in Fluid, is a creative person. I am a marketing person. Pardon?
Did you give her equity?
Oh, from day one, we were 50-50.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we started off really as a business arrangement, you know, like, and I've done 50-50 since then. That's gone terribly wrong as well. So I thought 50-50 was brilliant because we were equal. We both worked hard. You know, that was perfect. And then later I did 50-50 with someone else. And, you know, without getting into the ins and outs, we both made mistakes. But the point is that there was an element there where, you know, one of us felt like the other one was working harder, or the other.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometimes it is about that trust you've got to have with each other, right? And
Yeah.
and that partnership as well.
Because my instinct with sort of business in general was always to try to keep as much equity as I could, like 100% basically. And so if we were doing it together, I wouldn't, because I don't think I'd be looking to sort of give equity to her. It'd be more-
Josh, you're so honest. I really like you. And it makes it easier for me to help you when you're this honest, to be honest. I think that I would correct your thinking on this a little bit, because what's happened in your 0 to 7 years, whatever happened in your family has sunk into your subconscious, and you believe what you just said there because of something that's happened in your family. And go ahead.
No, no, carry on. Just...
All right. But anyway, whether I'm right or not, the subconscious of your brain is telling you don't give equity. Do you know what? Equity is worthless, man.
I think it's more the just you hear it online loads. I think.
Yeah, forget all that crap. Forget all that crap. You know, I think when you're in a partnership with someone, if you want to have an equal relationship in business with someone, and you own 51% and they own 49%, how would you feel?
No, I agree. But also like we're like in our early 20s. We've only been together like 2 years. Like I don't. It's quite a commitment. It's the same thing as buying a house together. I'm not ready to like buy a house together.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think business is pretty straightforward. I mean, if you come to the table with both wanting to work hard, both wanting to have an impact, and both care about the mission of the business, equity, do it 50-50, mate. You know, like, trust me, it's a lot more painful to keep. Equity is a weird psychological game. It doesn't really matter. You know,
the exit, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, the exit, then you both get rich because you both worked hard.
But what if we break up?
Then you have a shareholders agreement, and either you break up and you have the ability to continue working together. I've had that situation. You can continue to work together. Or you have a buyback clause. One of you buys the other one out, just like property. You know, look, I mean, I think the problem is if you have a partnership with someone in business and you're not sharing the equity, ironically, the partnership won't work 9 times out of 10. Whereas, do you know what? I'll give you a personal example. I've got 3 brothers and they've all got divorced. Okay, I've been married 20 years now. Right, and I honestly think the only difference is that from day one, I had more money than my wife when I met her, but from day one, everything, 50% of what I had, she already had in my mind, right? I didn't care. Whereas my brothers, all quite wealthy, started from nothing, all made money, but they kept it that this is mine and that's yours. And I honestly think it's like a house foundation. There's a little crack in it at the very beginning of the foundation. You know, like, that's yours and this is mine, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not a relationship counselor, but I can tell you business and relationships do have a parallel. And I sometimes think that maybe for your Amazon business, you keep that for yourself. But if you start a business with your partner, just do it 50-50. It will be a business that works, which means you'll have 50% of something that works. If you go into business with someone and you have more than them, it might not work. Now, if you break up, you break up. And maybe there's an argument for you going doing a separate businesses and just supporting each other. That's a different strategy. Actually, today, that's my wife and I. I have the Purposeful Project, which is helping people for free with entrepreneurship. And she has a couple of businesses of her own that she works on. I help her with those, but she independently runs those and independently makes them work. I'm just now an advisor, right? And vice versa. She helps me, like the thumbnails and all the things I need to do on my communication. She helps me with all that. Right, but I do honestly believe that our partnership worked because we just kind of all in, you know, it's kind of that all in strategy. And if you for a minute hesitate and say, well, what if we break up? You're telling the universe that, you know, like you're kind of saying to the universe, oh, we're likely to break up. We're going to break up. We've broken up. I told you so. You know, it's self-fulfilling.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fair enough. Thank you very much for your time. They were very helpful.
I like talking to you. The second time I've talked to you, I like talking to you. If there's anything I can do to help you, I think I'm really excited to see what you do.
Thank you.
And if I can do to help you and then claim glory that I helped you do it, then let me know.
All right, I'll let you know. Thank you very much.
Good luck, mate. Take it easy.
Leave, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm see you, mate. Bye. Roit is next. Where are you? Roit, hi. Am I saying your name right, Roit? Hi there. Roit, can you hear me?
Can you?
I can hear you now. Yeah, can you hear me?
Great. Can you, Malco? Like he's my partner, and I think he's gonna talk.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
see? I think he's right there.
Marco, I see you. Hi, Marco.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello,
great.
Simon.
I don't know what's wrong with the camera.
It's nice to meet you.
Likewise. How are you guys doing?
Good. I'm in
Good.
Spain and Reut is in Israel right now.
Oh, wow. Wow. This I'm in London, so this is international event.
International meeting, right? So
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, guys. We had a bit of technical difficulties at the beginning, so thank you for being patient. And so, yeah, how can I help you? What's going on?
well, first of all, thank you so much for what you do. I mean, it's amazing, like seeing people like you that have achieved their goals in life and are like helping others. It's like what I would do, right?
Thanks very much.
So yeah, that's the first thing I want to say.
Yeah, it's true. Like the world of entrepreneurship is like usually a struggle, and everybody's fighting each other, and it's nice to see like people like want to help. It's incredible.
That means a lot to hear. Thank you so much for saying that. And it means a lot to me that you guys say you'll do the same later. So I love to help people.
Of course, yeah. That's a part of it.
Or people just trying to get something out of each other all the time. So yeah, thank you for saying that, guys. Yeah, but how can I help you? I now feel the pressure to prove some value. So
yeah.
what can I help?
Yeah, so Simon, we run an online film school. Okay, so at the beginning we made like film productions around the world, and we had even international awards. But the main thing is that we believe in filmmaking because it's the fastest path to connect with the human emotion and with the soul. Okay, and we see like almost everyone in the world is like teaching the techniques and blah blah blah, but not the purpose behind it, you know.
Not connected to the emotion.
Yeah, so we started the project almost 2.5 years ago, like starting creating like a product, like the film school. Like imagine we create a new project which is more beautiful than the previous one, and we transmit all this knowledge, even with drones, FPV drones, like the last technology, like very beautifully created. And every time we present these kind of projects, even to film festivals, they win. Okay, but here, so everything is very beautiful and we love it. It's amazing. We've worked in Costa Rica, in India, blah blah blah, etc. When it comes to the online business, it's like, wow, that's kind of difficult. And we with clients from, I mean, students from Latin America and Spain, and we know this market has no, like, there are like 3 variables: the product, the audience, and the price that you put. And we are like kind of lost how to make it grow it faster. You know, because when you see that the response in the market, I mean, you feel like uplifted, right? And it's not happening that way for now. So we would like to hear, I mean, because it's like a lot to do, like marketing, analyzing data, and sometimes you feel like contracted, and it stops your creative process. So I think I've said almost everything. Yeah.
I understand, Marco. I understand. To be honest, I understand myself. I like talking to people and helping them, and I hate all the tech stuff and all the online algorithm hacking and hacking to reach people. You know, it's so frustrating. And as you say, it stifles the creativity for you. Frankly, it stifles my ability just to help people because I spent 20 minutes today trying to get online properly. You know, so I know what you mean. The only thing I would say to you, there's a couple of things that spring to mind as you explain it. I think, first of all, bringing an expert on who knows what they're doing in the area that you don't could make a difference. Now, what you're creating with, you know, the human connection, purpose, production, there's a lot of people that can't do that. That's really hard for some people, right? Just like maybe doing the technical stuff is difficult for you. So maybe it's time to expand your founder base or expand your team and bring on someone to help you. Is that something you thought about?
Yeah, but I mean, the main concern is like, if you don't have money for paying like somebody monthly, it's like giving equity, as you say, or
yeah.
And I feel like you need like a very, very powerful expert, like the best of the best, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, now is the best time ever to hire the best of the best. There's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good people out there right now that would normally be employed and you wouldn't get a chance. And I feel like the first step is to ask the universe for that person and see what pops out. You know, put an advert on Facebook, it's free. Put an advert out on LinkedIn, it's free. Go on platforms like Angel List, it's free. You know, and see who applies, right? Open your mind up a bit to it. First of all, there are people out there that won't be perfect, but they can grow with you. And I think that, you know, I always find when I bring people on that I really want to join my team, purpose is very important. And you've mentioned it. Not many people do.
Purpose I think that's the first thing. Yeah.
So you've got that. I think that's so powerful if you've got a purpose and you love what you do. And so, you know, the recruitment piece aside, which I think you can do, the only thing I'm going to say to you, Marco, on the other side of the coin is, do you really need to grow? You know, sometimes there's a need to grow for the sake of growth. But, you know, why grow? I know that sounds counterintuitive to most people's advice, but, you know, sometimes you can just enjoy what you're doing, make some money, enjoy your time.
Yeah.
And for the moment, just enjoy the moment. You know, what's wrong with that? Why do you feel the need to grow?
I mean, grow at least to be able to pay more people, and also, I mean, because it's not making the money it should, at least like the minimum, I believe it should. Okay, so that's the first thing. And grow, it's not about the money for me. It's like about the impact that you can create on people's mind. So it's not, for me, it's not only about the knowledge that we can provide, it's also like the values behind this knowledge, you know. So if people learn with us, it's like they're going to see the essence, you know. Like imagine projects filmed with wildlife in Costa Rica, like, and very, very beautiful. I mean, it gives something. So you empower them to think differently. At the same time, you teach them like a tool that's useful for many, many things, like you do now with your new media company, you know. So yeah, that's how I see the growth. It's not about money at the end. I mean, if you're living, I don't need like a mansion or whatever. I want to, I don't know, share this with beautiful people. It's my feeling.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I think, is this your first business?
Yes. Yeah, I studied engineering. I did a master's in renewable energy and architecture in the UK and China. And then I decided to quit everything. I felt like this kind of world wasn't for me. And I went into the unknown, like almost 7 years ago. Yeah. And in the way I met Reod. Yeah, she knew nothing, but I believed and she believed in a higher purpose. So yeah, that's the that's the thing. Yeah.
I think sometimes I can think back to my first business. Sometimes, well, first of all, you're much more advanced than I was. You know, you have the word purpose in your business, and you are thinking about making impact. Impact's my word this year, by the way. It's my New Year's resolution word is impact. Word, not a statement. And impact is my word this year. So you're resonating with me. I think you know, sometimes the mistake is though, growth can come in many forms. So you can do exactly what you're doing now, but maybe your content reaches more people, for example, right?
What did you say? Sorry.
Growth can come in many ways, basically, what I'm trying to get to, right? But defining growth, like, for example, I don't know what you're charging your clients now. Double it. Double it.
Double it.
Double it.
I mean, imagine that there is a program for life, okay? And I'm pointing to Latin America, people that have no money, because now it's in Spanish. It's going to be in English, okay? Like soon. And it's like almost 500 euros.
Yeah,
I don't
cheap.
think like almost any, yeah, it's very cheap. So I don't think anybody in Latin America or almost anybody is gonna, I mean, to give this knowledge.
But what I'm saying to you is sometimes you don't need to go and hire someone to do better analytics to get more money. You know, sometimes your existing client base, you're in my first business I ever did, I undercharged. I just didn't know. You know, and I undercharged, but I worked so hard myself. And it worked for me. Were really good at keeping, you know, their costs under control, and I made it work. But I didn't realize I could have charged double. You know,
Yeah, but
you got to break your mindset. Your price structure, you know, is probably you can grow by just pushing up your existing price.
Even marketing to Latin America, like.
Yeah, I don't see. I think pricing is always the same. You see, my instinct on how deals get done, most partnerships are not. It's always done on three things, right? One, the two parties like each other. The two parties need each other. If you get those two right, the third one, which is the financial one, almost becomes insignificant, right? So I've actually gone to my clients and said, I'm adding a 0 to my pricing. Do you still want my service? And they've said yes.
Yeah, what about if I try to go, I went down in the prices and it didn't work better. I mean, it was almost the same and I was like, wow.
You went down trying to get more volume, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a strategy,
by the way. But yeah, of course, that is a strategy to go down and get more volume. But I think from listening to you, I haven't seen your work, but quality is important, right?
Yeah, it's high quality.
I think it's the opposite you need to go. You need to go up. And create a premium feeling, and then you can pay properly, and then you can scale. You know, it's like I don't like the brand at all, but Louis Vuitton, you know, their handbags are actually $50 to make. So why are they charging $5,000?
Yeah, because they believe in that.
They sell at volume. Whereas everyone else is like, oh, I'm going to sell this bag for $50. Who are they? What's the name of their brand? Can you think of it? I don't know it. It doesn't exist. You see what I mean?
No.
Like. Pricing, when my first business, I definitely made a mistake on pricing, and I think you're doing the same. and that's another way to grow, by the way. Sometimes hiring someone to get, you know, more business to do, you know, yes, I think you should do it. But equally, I think just externally, you know, maybe you're also not a salesperson, which I think is a positive thing.
Yeah.
But maybe you're not a salesperson. Who's doing the sales?
Me and Reut.
Yeah. But I mean, sales is a very funny game. You've got to almost. I love sales, actually. I love sales. I think sales is totally underrated as a discipline. I think sales. I've built businesses and good friendships on the back of sales. You know, sales for some reason has got a negative connotation, but if you do sales right, it consolidates relationships. I've done sales well that my clients have wanted to invest in my businesses.
Yeah, I think we have to learn about it. Or bring you to the to the business.
Yeah. Well, I should do a webinar on sales, I think, because a lot of people struggle. Yeah. It's a very negative thing, sales.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down, but I think sales is part of your problem because you've got to sell in the right way to people and create the value, which I think you definitely are. But clients will not offer you more money, right? If you went to a client. It's 500 now. I'm going to charge you 1,000. They'll say, okay, we'll do 750.
Yeah, of course. If you negotiate.
And they'll say 900, and great, you've just doubled the size of your business.
And what about, Simon, if you've invested in advertising and people, I mean, probably many people have seen the previous prices, and then you say, okay, it's 1,000.
Yeah, pricing changes all the time.
Okay.
Facebook, okay. Free. You know, now pay to reach my fans on my Facebook page. I have 10,000 fans on my Facebook page that have all clicked like, saying they want to hear from me. Now I have to pay Facebook to connect with my own fan base. Right?
Okay.
People change pricing all the time. That's life.
Okay.
And actually, you can still do something like, we're going to increase our prices on the 1st of February. Sign up now, and you can avoid that. Another way to grow, right?
Okay. Okay.
But I honestly think that, pricing can also determine brand, right?
Okay.
And you should be building a brand, not a business.
Okay.
Right? You don't want to be seen as the guys that do quality for cheap. You want to be the guy that do quality, and clients will also worry you're not sustainable.
Yeah. I had that feeling. Yeah, like offering like a low price. It's like, oof, like a very bad. I don't know how to express that.
I have that with free. I do free, and people are like, "Yeah, what are you trying to get out of us?"
Yeah.
Cheap is bad. And ironically, you charge more. You'll reach a different type of client that will treat you correctly,
better.
And ironically, that they will then also probably have the budget themselves to promote what you're doing, and therefore make you more famous. Like if you have a big budget client, then they have more to promote what they've used you for, which means your product gets better known, and therefore you know what I mean? Like there's a domino effect.
Okay, Simon. So the first thing, as you said, is like bringing someone like expert who knows more about funnels and blah blah blah. We know, but we are not fully experts in creating funnels and a following, and we don't know also like the client cycle from cold to warm. We don't know exactly, and we believe like people tend to procrastinate, like buying something. And after that, my question is like, we should be like constantly on social media, right? Like creating new content, beautiful content, right? I think it should be, we are thinking about that, because I felt at the beginning like, okay, I created a very beautiful video and bring people into the funnel, and with that feeling, I mean, people should buy. But now I feel like maybe we should be creating more content, more beautiful content that express this. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, it's a complicated question, and the simple answer is you're still talking about brand in my mind, right?
Yeah.
Because what I think we're really saying, what you're saying is, what type of brand are you, and how will people connect? Are you a B2B business or a B2C business? If you're a B2C business, right, which you are now,
yeah,
right, a B2C business,
B2C, yeah,
then I would argue that social media definitely has a role to play in your life. However, there's a couple of elements. One, do you like social media? Do either of you two like social media? Do you like to social media?
If it works, yeah. If it doesn't work and it's a struggle, no.
Okay, well, define works. Define what you mean by works. Because, I've been on YouTube now a year. I started off with 80 subscribers. I've now got 3,200. Has that worked? I don't think so. Depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you have patience, not in me.
This is my point. Yeah, I think social media is definitely part of patience. But what I think the bit that people miss about social media is you've got to enjoy it. Like I actually enjoy making TikTok videos.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's cool.
And I found you, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, and so of course, if someone, it always reminds me of people that stand in health stores selling health products that look like they're about to die. Like you've got to live the brand, right? So if you're a social media, and then when it comes to brand, I think there's two structures you can think about. One is Marco, that's that represents the brand, or are you like kind of Canon or these other? Are you a company that then works with people that represent the brand?
Yeah, I think it should be, at least for the future, like more people like expressing themselves, not only me. Yeah,
but then that is a different type of strategy. You've got to think that through a bit. But that's also sales.
Okay.
But I do wonder. I mean, I think social media has been overrated. I mean, I'm on social media. I'm leveraging it. So I would argue use social media. But being devil's advocate for a minute, You know, to be honest with you, most of my businesses have been built up by me knocking on someone's door before COVID and saying, hello, do you want your garden taken care of? I mean, these days, when I see a gardening company start up like mine, they do a fancy website, they do some graphics, they post it on Instagram, and then they hope that someone's going to call them up and say, hi, my garden's messy. Would you come and take care of it? And I'm saying, go back and knock on the door of a messy garden. You can see it, right? You can see the messy garden. Knock on the door.
Yeah.
You know, don't hope that a social media post on Instagram is going to reach that person with a messy garden. Knock on their door. And I think if you take that analogy into any business, you can see who's making bad videos. You can see what businesses are not doing a good job with their communications in the video space. Ping them.
Okay.
You know, say you want a bad job, we can help you do a good job.
Okay. Both for service and also for the product.
Yeah, I think
maybe
so.
we can, both. Okay.
I mean, when I started I built a digital agency in 2000, and I just basically saw people with bad websites, and I would write to them and say, these are the 10 things that are wrong with your website. And they go, oh my God. And then I'd say, we can fix it for you. And they go, great, thanks. You know, like I didn't do one social media post. You know, and then when I did a good job for that client, I used to put the name of the company on the bottom of the website. This is 2000, the old days. And then people would say, wow, the website's beautiful. Who did it? And they'd see our name on there and contact us.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
You know, there's plenty of ways to get out there, but I think you need to think about your brand strategy, which is, are you a company brand or a personal brand? You know, are you high value? Where are you in the matrix? You know, are you cheap, good quality, which just doesn't match up over time? You're going to break as a company because you can't produce quality and be cheap, because one of you will get tired or something will break in the system. People can't live on, right? So I think at the beginning of a business, I am cheap at the beginning. For the first 6 months, I work for clients, I build relationships, I show my value, I prove myself, I build up case studies, and then I go, right, now I know what I'm doing and I can bring real value to you, then this is the proper price to do a proper service. And yes, some people will say, no, you need to go up the food chain.
Okay, okay. Okay, so yeah, because I saw like even Spanish competitors like selling courses for 20 euros, and I was like, oof. And they are good. They don't teach what we teach, but yeah, they are good. But 20 euros is like.
Don't worry about the competition. Let them go cheap and go broke. Let you bring value. You bring value. You're the company that brings value, that people afterwards talk about how amazing you were. I mean, if people get value, I mean, there's no price on value in my mind for most things. You know, like if you bring real value, it's worth it. $20, $1,000, or free. People say free has no value, right? I mean, I used to charge £5,000 an hour for what I'm doing here with you now, right?
Yeah, I know.
I can prove value by just giving value, right? And then eventually you get a good reputation, and eventually people talk about you, right? And I think you've done that anyway. You've got loads of people that love what you've done, and they've are fans of yours, right?
Yeah, they are.
So you need to leverage that more in your marketing too. You want people to talk about you more.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So more for there.
Marco, I'm conscious I'm keeping other people waiting. Is there anything else I can help with?
Nothing else. I mean, is there a way we can see this live recorded or somewhere?
Yeah, I'll put it up on YouTube. Yeah, it's up on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and I'll put it up everywhere. But I can also send you the link later.
Yeah, it would be nice. And also like to keep communication with you, Simon. Is there a way?
Of course. Yeah. You reached out before. Just reach out again when you're ready, and if you need any more help. I will do a webinar on sales. I'll do a free webinar on sales, and I'll make sure you get invited so you guys can have a listen in, and I'll try to share a bit more on that because it's a deep subject.
Okay. That's amazing. Simon, thank you very much.
Pleasure to meet you guys. See you soon.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Giorgio, you've been patiently waiting there. I'm so impressed. Thank you so much. You're on mic mute at the moment. Try to come off that.
There we go. How's that?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm very well. Good to finally talk to you at last. So I tried to catch up with you last time. I think I missed it by mistake. So yeah, it's good to finally connect. So I'll give you a bit of background about me. So originally, when I was at school, I couldn't read, I couldn't write, I was severely dyslexic, got bullied, and I really didn't like it. I had a really hard time at school. And when I came out of that, I was kind of drifting around a bit, and I didn't really know what to do. And I thought, oh, you know what, I'll go college and learn carpentry. You know, that's, my dad was a builder, and he was really successful at it at one point. We, you know, had a really good upbringing, but then he lost it all. I kind of went from one extreme to the other. So I thought, you know, patterning and conditioning, I thought, oh, you know what, I'll follow in his footsteps and, you know, go and learn carpentry. So I'd done that. It was like 2008, 2007. And I came out of college, and I was just like, you know, they wanted to give you 50 quid for apprenticeships and you could hardly get any work. And I was just like, nah, I was like, this is dead. I was like, I'm off. So I traveled from the ages of 17 to about 22, non-stop, from Australia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Vietnam, all around Thailand. Stopped off in Ibiza, set up a taxi firm in Ibiza. So I earned some money over there. Went over to Thailand. We was working doing timeshare, but you know, we was sweating our asses off, me and a friend that I met over there, and they wanted to pay us like £100 a day for the timeshare. I was like, well, we can earn more than that if we set up our own bar crawl. I was like, I've done bar crawls in the past. I've done it in Ibiza, so we just set up this bar crawl. So I ended up traveling around for a long time, you know, doing all different sort of sales jobs, anything. But I always ended up working for myself or finding a way to earn a few quid. And it really broadened my horizons. And, you know, along the way, I met a lot, such amazing people along the way, different mystics, yogis, different entrepreneurs that give me advice. And yeah, it was like, you know, this universe was sort of sending me people. And I got back home, and I thought, right, well, you know, I'm ready. You know, I'm sort of 22. I'll set up this construction company. So I set up a construction company, running around doing loads of renovations. It was doing all right. And then I had like kind of a lucky break, and I plugged into a really high net worth network through my stepdad. So, and then for the first few years, I didn't look back. My feet didn't touch the ground. And I didn't realize how good I had it looking back, right? And it was really good. You know, there was all people in their like 70s and 60s that had been in the property game years. They all have commercial offices in and around London, and I was going in, cutting them up, doing commercial to residential developments. Anyway, done that for a few years, earned some great money, spent a lot of money foolishly as well. Some lessons there. And then I bought a company in Swindon that went into receivership. It was a service company, so it was maintenance related, cleaning, etc. It had around 60 active contracts, 75 employees, which ranged from schools, healthcare, and offices. And when I took that on, that was like a massive turning point for me, because I was running the construction and that business. I was driving 2 hours every day up to Swindon, and like my head was just, I was kind of losing myself. And when Steve Jobs says you can't connect the dots looking forwards, but you can connect the dots looking back. Well, I couldn't see it at the time, but I was kind of chasing this illusion of success, and I kind of lost who I was in the process. So, you know, I went to South America, and I spent some time with shamans over there, and I went and done a lot of deep inner spiritual work, and you know, spent some time and done some ayahuasca, and really learned a lot. And I'd kind of, it wasn't just something that I jumped onto. I'd been sort of interested in this since I was the age of 17. I'd meditated, and I had a high value on it. And I came back, and I was just like, I had this level of clarity now, you know what I mean? And I came back, and I was like, right, you know, I've got to figure this out. So I ended up selling off that, keeping the construction business, and I kind of thought, you know what, I'm going to go Australia. So I went to Australia. I lived there for a year. I'm going to go back there. And 4 days before I was meant to fly to Australia, I had this fight, and it was a really bad altercation, and got charged, and I could have gone to prison for 8 years. It was a real big deal. And I remember sitting in the cell, and my life just came crashing down around me. And this whole case went on for like 6 months. Now, obviously, you know, I got found not guilty because I'm here talking to you today. But it was in that time of you know, that happening. It was a calling, you know what I mean? Like, it was a divine calling. And and it's just what I needed, and totally no regrets. And it's all part of the journey. So the reason why I'm telling you all this is because it leads on to the company which I'm founding now, which is called Human Connector. And Human Connector is focused at working with entrepreneurs and corporations to show them how to break free from the chains of their own mind to become limitless, that really have a product or service that are really impacting humanity and really want to level up in their self-mastery and raise their level of awareness and consciousness. So my purpose, my sole purpose, is to uphold sovereignty in humanity. And my mission is to transform the way people see the world and raise their level of awareness and consciousness. And what I'm doing at the moment, the company is it consists of consulting, mentoring, and coaching for entrepreneurs and corporations. And I do one-on-one, and I've also got a group program which I'm launching this year. So it's the company's in its infancy. However, that is just such a small part to where I want to take this. I mean, the very essence of the company is to create a collective conscious movement to really show people how to live as free spiritual beings and master their own mind, which is, I believe, the biggest technology we've got is right here. All right. So everything that goes on in our lives is down to our level of thinking, everything. So I asked myself a question very synchronistically to what you said earlier. And I asked myself, how can I make the biggest impact today on consciousness in humanity with the tools, resources, and knowledge that I have around me? And I downloaded this from the field. This came to me, and it was a crystal clear vision. And everything's going online. So part of how I'd want to scale this is I'd want to take it onto, let's say, an app, but it's not going to be an app. It's going to be on blockchain because that's where everything's going. And also I don't want it tampered with, so I want it, because it's all about upholding sovereignty and empowering the world as a collective humanity. But if you imagine part of this business, you'll have a digitalized version. And we just keep things simple. We just, we work off the app. So you go on the app, and this app is based upon high level technology. So AI, voice audio recognition, and face recognition as well. Now, some of that stuff is so advanced now that they reckon it can almost read a human, read someone better than a human can. So the AI, the algorithm, and the facial recognition technology is going to be able to read someone better than a human. So the way I want to scale this out and roll this out, so everyone's got accessibility to this, is creating a really advanced. If you imagine, just to keep things simple, just so I can explain it to you, but if you imagine that you've got your own virtual online pocket consultant that can solve any problem, right? And it's basically all my life's work that I've researched in terms of neuroscience, human behavior, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, metaphysics, all rolled into this app to neutralize anything what's going on within the human mind. So any problem that you've got, this app will be designed to solve it, whether it's in business, mental health, self-sabotage, anxiety, anything that's going on within the body, which is all, a feedback mechanism of the mind, etc. So, and we're moving more and more into that way of thinking. The world's waking up, right? So that's kind of the vision of where I want to take the business. At the moment, I've got 5 one-on-one clients, high-level clients that I'm working with, entrepreneurs, and then I've got the group program. But that's a small scale how I'm going to create transformation. How I want to really create transformation is scale this out across a digital platform. And in order to do that, I'm going to need an investment. So, you was covering, a question earlier, and I was asking about investment. Now, I know, first and foremost, I've got to find someone that's going to be consciously aligned to this mission and the purpose and the vision of it, because that's where it all is really. It was never about the money when I set this up. And so one of the questions is, how can I find an investor, or where's the best way to go about finding an investor that's really going to share this vision and is really going to want to run with it?
Wow, what an amazing story. You've got quite the journey there, and I really I can resonate with a lot of it, of course, and I guess that's why you've reached out to me, because a lot of my content talks about what you're talking about. So it's great to hear that you're doing this. On your question of getting an investor, there are so many ways to get an investor, and I think that one element that is a little bit overlooked. I don't know if you were listening to the first person today. Were you here the whole time listening to the previous question?
The girl.
Pardon?
The girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was here. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't want to repeat. If you've already heard from them, or heard what I was saying to them.
I heard a bit of it. Yeah, I've got a few people in mind, like that I could reach out to. But it's such an it's something, because it's the AI. I want to try and find someone ideally that, that's got that left brain, that comes from a maybe with an AI and the tech side of it. Because that's kind of the knowledge that I lack in that area. So if I could find an investor that's got that to come in, where I've got the vision, I've got the purpose, I've got the understanding, I've got the knowledge and wisdom and how to build this and put it out there. I need, bigger capital to roll this out in a bigger way, and I need someone ideally with the knowledge in tech.
I don't think initially you need capital. I think you need an MVP. And have you read the Lean Startup, the book, The Lean Startup?
I haven't, no.
You read that book. I'm dyslexic like you, so I mean, when I say read that book, I mean go get an audio.
There's actually something. It's all part of the work. So I left this part out because there's so much to this story. But I went on a journey, and I took a load, all the money that I'd saved in my business, and I went around. And I studied under Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Demartini, all leading world experts in the field. I went to America, and I was so hungry for the knowledge. And you can break through they're all subconscious limiting beliefs, and part of the work that I do with people, I want to put into this app, and it's all about using neuroplasticity to reprogram the neurons in your brain, which we've all got the capability. It's all possible, right? But
I talk about it in my all the time. I know what you mean, that the subconscious is so powerful. And our 0 to 7 years, I've got a 3-year-old, I can see it, he's getting trained by me, and that's all sinking into his natural reflexes. So that bit I totally get. I think what you're trying to do is amazing, but translating what I think is quite an intimate, personal and detailed relationship change into a technology item is really, really hard. And I think if I look at what's happening with what Elon Musk is doing with the plug-in programming stuff, have you seen that with the electronic chip?
I'm well aware on all that kind of stuff, and I like it. I think it's cool, but it's limits. Like, machine's limited, consciousness is infinite. So what
I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to suggest is that leveraging these technologies to do what you're doing. So, you mention an app, but even as you mention it, I can tell you're seeing it's a bit of an outdated concept, right? I mean, as things move, it's about voice, it's about relationship, right? And I think it's about technology having a human ability. I mean, I just saw a startup that's basically replacing doctors. It's EQ and it's data. It's deciding what's wrong with someone better than a human could, right?
You imagine, right? Eventually, as the app progresses, you'll have a wearable, right? But built on blockchain. Now, blockchain is an infinite memory bank. Okay, so if you imagine that we design a wearable to go with the technology, and it records everything that's going on in your day, your blood pressure, if someone leans in to give you a kiss, you lean back, it's picking up everything. So what it's doing is it's building this you know, it's taking your health, all your self mastery, your performance levels, everything, and it logs that on the platform, right? But what we're doing is we're giving the power back to people, because at the moment people are unhealthy. The healthcare system's taking that back, you know, working out what to do, and then they're making drugs and selling it back to the people. So, but what I'm doing is I'm giving the power back to the people, because they're taking responsibility. They're seeing what's going on in their own health, and they don't need to go to the doctors. They don't need to go into the hospital. Why? Because everything can be fixed with that, or you can monitor it on a screen. Or, you know, this is just from a healthcare perspective, but you can also use this in business to increase your performance. You know, I think a guy called Stephen Kotler, right, done a 2-year study with the McKinsey Group over a 2-year period on 2 corporations, and they got them into a state of flow, right, flow psychology, and the productivity and performance went up so much that the return on investment they got back was tenfold. Now they've valued that industry at a $50 trillion industry because of the productivity rate that's going to go up. And why wouldn't it be? Because if you've got a whole organization that's working in that same collective consciousness where there's psychological safety, you know, everyone's working to the same cause and effect, because reality is created in the mind anyway, right? So, you know, this is where I see the future of technology going, and I think it's moving faster than people think. And I know, you know, a few players out there that have got their fingers in pies that are looking at this. But the beauty of it, right, is you can make the technology, but you can only build this to your level of consciousness. So you can't. So before, people think, oh, you know, all this stuff's been done, but it's not, because you've got to have the consciousness and the awareness to build something like this. It's only going to be as, you know.
I agree. I'm wondering how I can help you, because you're preaching to the converted. I love it. I understand. Have you made the app? Have you made a software element? Any MVP at all?
I haven't. I spoke with 2 consultants that were, you know, consciously aligned, and, you know, said, yeah, you know, we can build it for them. You know, but they ended up getting really busy, and they said, look, you know, we're going to have to, you know, charge you on that. So I've got to raise some investment to make, you know, some form of prototype. But, you know, again, at the moment, you know, this is why I'm waiting to do the online program, because I'll have a stronger accounts there. So I'll have strong accounts. You know, I can show what I'm already doing on a one-to-one basis. I just basically want to take what I'm doing here and put it into a digitalized version. So, you know, this is kind of what this year is all about. It's phase 2. It's, you know, scaling up what I've already got. But again, you know, the main reason was just to find an investor, to find someone that would be aligned to this.
So I've got a question, because we're running out of time and I want to try and help you. So one thing I'm thinking is, if you have a basic prototype, and it doesn't have to be a finished programmed item, it can literally be I mean, I've seen people hold up a bit of paper to their head, showing what the app looks like and doing drawings on a bit of paper with the stages of the app and how it works and what's involved. I've been in a room. I've invested in 68 startups, right? So I've seen every pitch there is. I've invested in 68. I've seen probably 10,000 pitches, you know, and so it doesn't have to be a finished product, but you will have trouble getting an investor just talking it the way you're talking it, you know, because people aren't patient. They're not going to listen to you monologue it in that way, right? You know it so intricately, you're so excited about it, but the person listening, especially finance people, they can't quite grasp it. They need to see something.
Sure, yeah, no, I wrote that down, and, you know, I totally 100% agree. But I also want them to share that intimacy.
Yes, they will, but they're different. You want the opposite brain side to you, right? Your left brain, your right brain. You want a left brain. So stop talking like a right brain. You're not going to be talking to a right brain person. You're talking to a left brain person. I'm a right brain person, so I'm grasping what you're saying. But I'm also tapping into my left brain for a minute, because I've seen people like in this space. You're asking about investment. I'm telling you, they're going to they're not going to hear you. Mark Zuckerberg is mad, but he had a working prototype that someone who had a left brain could comprehend. They could see the addiction. They could see the system, right? You need to take that wacky brain and you need to turn it into something real that people of the left brain side will understand. So when you're talking about raising money, that's what you're going to need to. If you don't need to raise money, then great. A lot less pain for you, because all you need to do is make money, as you just said, proving that you can earn a living by helping people with this, untangling of their subconscious and realigning and support. And then you can translate that one-on-one help into a scalable model. Right? That you can do on your own. It's going to take time. I want to tell you, because I see a lot of businesses, there are people doing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? There are a lot of them are coming from, they've got psychological degrees, and they're creating media businesses and apps. Like I've seen 6 mental health apps in the last 3 weeks. Right? Mental health has become, of course, a big issue thanks to COVID. It was already, but now I feel like at least people can talk about it. And, they all have prototypes. Every single one of them have got a prototype before they're talking to investors like me and people more valuable than me. There are people out there that would, so when you ask about an investor, I'm telling you the best tip I can give you is, a bit more of a flushed out prototype. Stop talking the idea, have it written down on bits of paper. You don't have to hire someone to build an app. In fact, I would warn you against that initially, right? Maybe you put an advert up for someone to join you as a co-founder. You want to find yourself, someone that can actually create this, and ask the universe. You go and find. Don't hire a company. I don't think that works unless they're going to be a company that ends up, full-time working on your product, and because they're going to get distracted by clients, the experience you've already had, right? So go and tap into the 5,000 programmers Airbnb have just let go, and see if they'll invest in what you're doing and come and help you build, what's in your head right now, this kind of crazy genius, into something physical that anyone you speak to that might invest in this business is going to understand. I can see you wanting to speak, so I can stop for a second. You want to say something?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, what you said. Who did you suggest to build this, to help build it out?
Well, there's I was saying Airbnb let go a lot of programmers, a lot of staff, right. And they actually made a website of all the people they laid off. I was just giving you an example that now finding someone to help you make this has never been easier. Right? You can go on sites, more commercial sites like Fiverr.com. Do you know them?
Yeah, I know the one.
And again, you want to approach it that you're looking for a partner, not a service provider. Make that clear, because you don't have the money to pay them. Right? And then you can go on sites like angellist.com. Right? That site, sorry, .co, not .com. Angellist.co. I'm on there, so to make sure it's the right one. It's a load of angel investors. The syndicate's on there. But there's also, you can list your idea, your company, right? Your idea on that platform. And when you list it, you can say you're looking for a programmer and you're willing to give equity. You will get people applying to you for that. Right? And that, I think, will give you maybe because again, when you're raising money from someone, they look for 2 things. They look for the crazy inventor, which you definitely tick that box, but then they're looking for the person that can actually go away and make it happen. And you need a tech person for this type of business.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you can't make it happen without a tech person. So no one, you're going to be, you can talk, I can introduce you to 100 investors, and they're all going to say no if you don't have a tech person or a prototype.
So
you're going to be talking at them about your idea, and they're not going to understand it, and they're not going to see a working prototype. They're not going to see a team that can actually make the physical idea happen. And they're going to say no. You're going to waste your time and mine.
Yeah. Where in terms of finding another good co-founder for this, someone with a tech
universe, man. Put it out on all your social media channels. Share this broadcast later. Put it out there, man. This is what you're looking for. This is your brilliant idea, and this is what you're looking for. Post it in groups, LinkedIn, Facebook. Post it everywhere. Ask the universe. Everyone you meet, do they know a program? Do they know a program? Go on AngelList, list your business. It's just relentless. To get someone on board like this, to me, is just like any other sale. Be relentless. right?
Yeah.
Just write down what you need and then be relentless.
Perfect. Amazing. It was good. It's good. Brilliant. No, thanks a lot for that, Simon. I really appreciate that and taking your time and going through that, because yeah, and it may sound like you've gone through a few things that you said earlier, but it when you hear someone else giving you the bullet points and it's just like boom, but it just breaks it down. It does. It helps you just break through that, a bit more of a level of clarity, moving forward with this. Yeah. It's quite easy to overcomplicate things when it's not really, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's why it's good to have someone to talk to sometimes, just to bounce it off. As you say, you probably know some of the stuff I'm saying, but then just keep it simple and go and action it. I mean, go and make a living from this existing one-to-one. Make sure you've got a stable platform there, because that's, I think, can be your what makes you different from all these other apps that are just apps.
Sure.
You've got the ability to have a higher end service. So don't give up the day job.
No,
because it's still a long-term vision, right?
No, I wouldn't, and that's where all the growth is, right? Because you when you learn it, you teach it, and when you teach, you learn. So
you can basically do my content. You should just be doing what I'm doing.
So yeah. We're are you on? I followed you on Clubhouse, Simon. Yeah,
I'm on there, but I hardly use it. Yeah.
Would you come on and we do a talk about the mind and about about your journey? Would you do that?
Yeah, happy to do that, mate. Of course. Yeah, let me know when you want to do it. Yeah, no problem.
Amazing. I'll drop you a DM.
All right, mate.
Okay.
Great. Well, nice to meet you, and good luck with it. Keep in touch, and yeah, I'll see you on Clubhouse another time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, Simon, and yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing and how you're helping people. It means a lot to me. I'm sure it means a lot to other people like me also. So yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Well, just go going great and help people with their subconscious limiting belief systems, and everything will be good.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All
totally.
Right. See
Thanks. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Last but not least, Stephen, how are you doing? Thank you for being patient.
Hi, Simon. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Happy New Year.
Yes, likewise. Sorry about the the little bit of running around on email today with Talia. I know it's been coordinating things with you, but you're here, and how can I help you?
Thank you very much for having me. I'm wishing you a year of happiness, health, and tremendous impact. To you and your family. So thank you. Thank you for having me. You're a real inspiration to me. We've had a brief chat before, and both of us have lived in Hong Kong. You've actually lived probably 3 times longer than I have in Hong Kong, even though I'm from there. So
Making me old suddenly. I lived there for 20 years. So did you? Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not that old, but
no, I've actually lived here most of my life. So I grew up here as a kid. So I'm pretty inspired by your journey. And I would love to kind of learn from you and just have a chat. I'm looking forward to this.
Thanks. Well, how can I help you today, Stephen? What's going on?
So yeah, first and foremost, I've been working on myself a little bit more, and for this year, I want to, develop a bit more of a perspective, maybe trying to be increasing my level of gratitude a bit more, so I'm a bit more happy. I think last year I've been quite stressed. I've been focused on my goals. I've been focused on what I want to achieve. So I'm kind of like just stepping back a little bit, taking a break mentally. But also, I'm always kind of working on the next, on the next thought, on the next idea to help people, and to create more impact. So for me, my word, I guess, is for this year is perspective. And just like Gary Vee, have you had a chat with Gary Vee yet?
Yes.
Yeah. How did it go? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, we'll be doing a podcast together soon, a more intimate chat, which will hopefully be in the next few months. But to be honest, as I said to you, I think before, I sometimes love Gary Vee, but it's quite American, and sometimes it's a bit lacking in depth knowledge-wise, as far as like how you actually build a business from 0 to 1, which I think is trouble a lot of people have. So But I have a lot of respect for him, of course. You know, he's a lot of what he does is very, very motivational. But I think also it can be dangerous for people that just hear the snippets.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
be successful, which we all know, working hard on its own often can make people sick. And
I think you bring a different perspective. You know, you bring more of a practical perspective where people can actually relate. You know, people like the average entrepreneur who's trying to make it happen. So, you know, credit to you. I was on Clubhouse the other day. You know, you mentioned Clubhouse earlier, and I think Gary Vee broke the app.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he broke the app, and people weren't too pleased. But I was actually I've spent time on the app, kind of listening to what's happening. I've been just really fascinated by what people are, you know, talking about and what people are really interested in right now. You know, there's a huge following on blockchain and crypto like right now. So I was in one of the rooms helping moderating, and that room was going on for like 3 or 4 days, I think. It's crazy, probably one of the Clubhouse records. But anyway, just a fun fact. But yeah, I guess today, you know, I think I wanted to talk about a little bit more about what I'm doing, and I got some, you know, maybe three or four questions I have. I'll try and be succinct. So I've been quite inspired by an organization called Founderfine, which is a social enterprise based in London in the UK to help the sort of diverse people, like, you know, Black, Asian, minority entrepreneurs and founders to really understand and learn more about entrepreneurship. So I initially participated in the hackathon just to help you know, the young students to go through like online webinars, to kind of help through the, you know, events and just to learn more about technology in general. And since then, I kind of met someone who really aligned with my vision, and we kind of partnered together to kind of look at social impact in the healthcare space. So I mentioned that, I think, in a previous call that we had before. So right now I'm working on a wellness audio platform for mindfulness and challenge-based interventions, really to help others with their mental health. And that's been obviously a huge problem during the lockdown, as you mentioned earlier with some of the other guys. So I believe that it's really, you know, it's possible to really bring self-care to more people, right? To make it more accessible to more people, make it more affordable. So, you know, obviously a well-known fact is like, or, you know, they say 1 in 4 people have some sort of mental health each year in the UK. And there's a lot more shocking statistics, right? You know, 3/4 of like childhood problems were mental health problems are developed in childhood or by the age of 24. So there's a lot of problems here right now, obviously. And also there's a lack of psychiatrists, there's lack of psychologists in this space. And they, you know, I know the NHS is doing something about it, but, you know, the crisis is growing and growing. And yeah, so currently I'm kind of building this app, right? I'm trying to gain traction. I was really inspired by some social campaigns. You know, for example, the 5K donate £5,000. You nominate 5 people, donate £5, and that was so inspiring. You see movements like that, which really kind of, you know, everyone can resonate with, and everyone can get together to help more people. So yeah, so I've been really you know, focused on how do I make an impact to help other people right now. And it's, you know, still very early stage at the moment, you know, hence why I'm looking for mentors like yourself, advisors in the space, you know, to really just to push ourselves to make sure that we're in a, you know, going in the right direction. We're currently sort of beta testing our app. We partnered with Southbank University. We got into their digital health accelerator program. We're working with Portsmouth University to pilot it and actually do some testing on the research side of things. So the interventions is what's going to really, you know, make sure that we're measuring the effectiveness of our interventions. So I mentioned there's 3 questions I wanted to ask. one was, how do you suggest, in this current, time, in this current pandemic, how do you suggest, people coming out of the lockdown, people obviously really having severe mental health issues, how do I reach out to them when there's so much noise, there's so much content out there, right? There's so many people who's trying to make a difference, right? And I've always gone down a path of partnerships and collaboration, but how do you suggest I go about reaching those people? That's my first question.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's a few things that jump through my mind on this. Mental health, actually deciding who has a problem and who doesn't, and who wants help with that problem and who doesn't, is an interesting question. At the end of my street, I'm sad to say there are 4 homeless people, and 3 of them I've had the chance to talk to, and they've had serious trauma in their lives. And there is an issue with housing for men in particular in London. They're not the priority on the list for housing, but that's not actually the main issue. The main issue is they have some mental health issues. Do they want help? Yes. Equally, however, they want freedom. They want to be stuck in a hospital room, right? So, I'm guess partly saying I have limited knowledge of mental health, but equally at the same time I can see it at the end of my street. And I would say my instinct on this is to say something like creating a case study where you've proven what you've got actually does something. So whether it's going to the end of my street and helping one of those people with their issues by using your system and creating a minimum viable product, literally whatever your system is, applying it to this human being and trying to help them, and hopefully they then become happier. That's a great outcome. But you can have a case study. You can say, look, this is what happened before with this person. This is their situation. No one helped them. This is how it worked. And then we applied our technology and our knowledge to this person's life. And this is the case study. I'm a big fan of platforms like Humans of New York. Have you seen this?
No.
Humans of New York it's just an Instagram feed that's turned into books and all sorts of things. But basically, they just interview real people who tell their stories, and some of their stories are just mind blowing. But I think you could do something like that. You could create a Humans of New York equivalent. You could create amazing stories. Now, as far as partners go, I'm a big fan. There's a charity in London called Beam. Do you know them?
I heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, Beam. And I know the founder, so I can introduce you. And he's an amazing person. But he's helping the homeless get into a job, right? He's helping them get work. And, and frankly, that can sometimes be the beginnings of helping people with their psychological and mental health issues. Once they have some element of self-worth, they realize they can function in society, then they start releasing their own limiting belief systems and so on. I'm learning all this from what they're doing. This is not my knowledge, it's theirs. But the point I'm trying to say here is that ultimately, I think case studies are very powerful. And if I was you, that's what I would focus on creating. So it's great you're in the accelerator. It's great that you're building out the product. That's very advanced, Stephen, and that's amazing. But when you talk about how can you go to the next step, I'd find 2 or 3 people out there that you can make a difference to, that understand. It's a bit like the COVID vaccine. This is an experiment.
Sure.
And you're going to try and help them, and while helping them, you're going to learn how to help people better next time.
Absolutely.
Hopefully create a real life, tangible case study.
That's exactly what we're doing. So I mentioned the partnership with South Bank University. That's kind of to pilot the initial 50 people to kind of help kind of make sure that our app is safe to use, is helpful and is effective in terms of their interventions. But the key thing is the question that follows that, I guess, is when you look at the likes of Clubhouse, right? That's a really good example of, for me at least, in my opinion, it's a It's how a network effect is built, right? And the fact that it just blew up, in the last, few months, right? And the fact that the founders just constantly listen to feedback, constantly iterate their product to make it better, right? And I love that it's so sticky. People were talking about it. So, you got big entrepreneurs like Grant Cardone and John Lee, and they were all talking, in one room, and they were all saying how great Clubhouse is in terms of the network effect, in terms of the stickiness of the app. So I read a really interesting book over the holidays called Hooked, which is it's basically about how to build habit-forming products. And obviously, as a product designer, I'm trying to create products not only that are helpful, but something that people will actually use on a day-to-day basis, because people's psychology, people's behavioral habits are all built. And I'm just so fascinated by the psychology behind it. But I'm just interested in your thoughts about how, using Clubhouse as an example, how do you think I could grow this? Because I'm actually focusing on audio first as one of our main interventions. So we're actually not doing video as well, but we're taking the same approach, but applying it into the wellness niche. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how these things like Clubhouse pop up. I mean, it's just kind of, to me, it's a group on Facebook, isn't it? That's what it is. It's a group on Facebook that then ends up being its own entity. Let's face it. And there's a bit of a leverage of the technology that's now available through audio and so on. But I guess, I mean, I always think, these things get a bit complicated and they don't need to be. I think build a small community of kind of loyal tribal followers. I don't know your experience in mental health, Stephen, but I mean, someone was mentioning, I think having the experience, if you've got experience in mental health, I feel like I do a little bit, but I don't think I could ever say that I have not been in a very dark place and come out the other end. I have not had that experience. I have had my issues. My father died in front of me when I was 15 years old. That's bound to, cause you to be homeless for a while. I've definitely had my troubles. I wouldn't say I'm mental health carefree, but I've been to see a psychiatrist, and I feel like I'm not angry at anybody or anything. I'm quite, so I don't feel I have enough knowledge about mental health to be able to build a community around it, which I think is partly where you need to start, right? I mean, whether it's a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, I do think a lot of people that want to talk about this subject, whether it was a TikTok channel where you shared, things, and then people came on and shared their opinion and, did stitch. I don't know if you use TikTok much, do you?
I do. Yeah, I create some content. Yeah. I'm more of a content creator, but I don't consume too much.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, creating a community of people that know about this issue. There's someone on my feed right now that I should probably connect you with, saying they have an experience, they know stuff about this, and they'd like to help you. I think creating a group of people like that, that's what Clubhouse is, right? That's all these.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah, I'm trying to get early to kind of build a niche, to build a group around it. Yeah, and just trying to help people. Yeah, for sure.
I saw on TikTok the other day, because I consume and I produce content. That's how I stay relevant within the content ecosystem. But I was swiping and something came up, which was basically about a guy was talking about his depression, and he was saying that he had depression, and then he didn't know what it was for about a year. He just felt sluggish and tired and didn't really understand why. And then one day he found out that he had low testosterone, which happens to men as they get older, right?
Yeah.
And it turns out that for him, it wasn't depression. It was literally that his testosterone had dropped, and he'd said things, I don't want to get blocked on any of the applications now, but he was saying he just woke up without an erection anymore. He didn't realize that was important. He basically listed out all the symptoms that he didn't realize were that important.
Yeah.
And then eventually, and by putting that up on TikTok, now I don't have that problem, but it made me aware of a potential mental health issue that actually is explained through a medical problem that is quite natural in men as they get older. I like that content, even though I don't have mental health. I don't consider myself to have. Now, there's an interesting pocket of people that don't consider themselves to have mental health issues that do, right? I've got a brother like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I have dealt with my trauma in my childhood and what happened to me. He has not. He thinks seeing a psychiatrist admits that you're mental. I completely disagree, right? So I can see that he needs help, that he doesn't even know that he needs help. He's put his problem in a very dark place, and it manifests itself without him even realizing it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there is a whole pocket of people that I think have issues and don't realize it.
Yeah.
So you've probably got three buckets. You know, you've got the people that got a problem, they know about it, and they want it. You've got people that aren't sure they've got a problem, but wouldn't mind finding out and getting some help. And you've got people that don't think they've got any problem at all, but definitely do. And you've got about 1 in 100 that have no problem at all, perfectly functional, normal human beings, called Gary V. You know, the perfect individual who doesn't get that. Digging at him in case he's listening, but you know what I mean. Like, the point is that there's always going to be that spread. So I think maybe you need to define, what bucket you want, because there is also the other bracket, which is people that have gone through it all, have knowledge, and could be part of your community to then help the three pockets I just explained, right?
Absolutely, yeah. No, the reason why I'm asking you, because I feel like you're such a purpose-driven person, and you're obviously empathetic to everyone's needs and their questions. So I'm really just interested in your take about this. Even though it might not impact your personal life in such a big way. I think the final question, I guess, I think I mentioned 3. I could keep going and talk, but I appreciate your time, and I don't want to take too much of it. So I've been trying to grow this, right? Since sort of I think early last year or so, at the start of lockdown in the UK. And I've had a lot of feedback, right? I've been talking to a lot of people. The product keeps iterating and is improving, which is great. And I've reached out to a lot of people personally. I've been talking to, as you said, talking to people on Facebook groups, just on one-to-one basis, just to understand their mindset and what they really need help with. And then I've also pitched to big VC firms, accelerators, with some level of success in terms of getting into the digital health accelerators. But what I want to know is that I keep getting feedback from, VCs or, big investors saying, come back when you have, at least 10,000 users, right, on the app, and then we'll talk. So getting that traction, from 0 to 1, just, in like the book, Peter Thiel, I feel like it's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy to do, and that's why not everyone can build a startup. But I feel like I guess my question is, how do you stand out from the crowd, right? And also, what is your advice to pitching to angels, since you're an angel investor?
Yeah, I mean, first thing, Stephen, stop talking to people that are giving you that sort of feedback, because it just gets frustrating for you. You know, you have energy, you're excited to meet these people, you go pitch, and then they're like, yeah, come back to us when you're more successful. It's like, I need your money to make me more successful. It always reminds me of the joke used to be people go for a job interview at a radio station, and then they get rejected. They don't get the job at the radio station, but no one really wants to tell them why. So they just say, you're too tall for radio. There's no relevance really to the truth. I mean, yes, you go back with 10,000 users and they'll probably say, yeah, well, if you get this investor on board, we'll join. There's a million reasons why they're saying no to you. They might not even have funds at that moment. They might be raising funds. Sometimes people are mid-fundraising. They still have meetings with people, and they always feel they still need to give feedback, but they don't want to lose you. So maybe they're saying, anyway, the other side of it is, I hate using the example, but The Social Network movie is such a good movie in some respects for me, because I'm assuming you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah,
and of course, that whole one side, Mark Zuckerberg building the product, and users, and then you still got the old school, go get an advertiser and go, and so there's a part of me that kind of says to you, just build the community, man. This is something that matters to you. I can tell. Right. Yeah. So while you don't look like you're living extravagant, you don't look like you're overdoing it. Just make it work. Right. Make it work, and you watch people come to you. I think, I mean, one of the interviews I saw recently, again, I might have been on TikTok, but it was, Mark Zuckerberg, his first real interview, just got 15 million pounds or something ridiculous. And the lady interviewed him and said, how did you manage to raise this money for this little startup? And he said, to be honest, they just gave it to us. It's like, I realized we probably need it. So I said, yes. Like, and I don't want to simplify raising money because I think it's got very sophisticated. And even in the time that Mark Zuckerberg started till now, there's more people. That's the only difference. So in fact, it should be easier, right? Sure. It should be easier, not. But if you look at the examples of companies that have actually raised a lot of money, they're actually not pitching as much as you think. They're not even really, and I say this lightly, because a lot of companies going to Y Combinator, have scaled up into big successful businesses. Yeah. But having said that, a lot of people that are in accelerators, and I've run accelerators. I built accelerators. I built Nissan's accelerator. I built AIA in Hong Kong. You know this, right?
Amazing, yeah.
I built these platforms. I created them. I went to DBS Bank and I said, you need to help startups. And then they built a whole platform, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to help startups. I built that, right? So I can say this with authority as well. The accelerator is not necessarily always a good thing. Like I want you spending your time on, if I was, your kind of partner in this business, is let's build a loyal community that are going to help bring value to our customer, right? And then, of course, the Peter Thiel approach, 0 to 1 you mentioned earlier, let's focus in on the customer. And he talks about a monopolistic approach, which I hate. I don't like Peter Thiel, actually. I don't like him because he supported Trump. And I don't like him because I think he actually, the monopolistic approach, I think especially in healthcare, it's all about collaboration, right? Like you said earlier, I would not see them as the enemy. There is an argument. They are in fact the enemy. Peter Thiel would say, these are the enemy. These are our competition.
Yeah, he said competition's for losers or something, right?
Exactly. And I think he's wrong.
Yeah,
he's
about collaboration.
Yeah, he's lost. And he also slags off China in a very ignorant way, right? He talks about that book, talks about how China is copying. He's not in touch with reality, right? You and I have spent time in Asia.
Yeah.
Everyone copies everyone. Facebook was a copy of MySpace. MySpace was a copy of Friendster, yeah? So, Peter Thiel invested in a business which is a copycat business. So he can't say in that book, as he did say, that China is copying and they're bad, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, now Peter Thiel's listening. I'd still like you on my podcast show, so I can slag you off there too. Have a constructive conversation about your opinion that's different to mine. But anyway, I think sometimes this chasing for money and all that, if you can build up, let's say you build up 1,000 people that can help the person at the end of my street who has mental health issues within a forum, that is a very investable thing. That's the beginnings of scale. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't need an accelerator to do any of that. You just ping people that can help, like people now on my network that are offering to help you. I can see, there's people out there, right? And so, on TikTok it's going, a bit crazy. There's loads of people out there that will help you, right? And so for me, I think that chasing, as I say this as an investor, when you ask me about the investor question, what do you need the money for? Build the technology. Okay, it sounds like you've got a partner or something going on there, let that happen, because without the backbone, without the people in Clubhouse, the technology at Clubhouse means nothing.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I've built a team around, and I've managed to gather the team just through the mission, right? I've just been able to, been really grateful for meeting great people, and we're all kind of working together with the same vision, with the same purpose, with the same mission. Yeah, but yeah, I at the moment, we're all working on it when we can, because we're not making any money of it, right? We're just trying to help people. Yep. So it's hard.
Yeah, I understand. Someone just said on my feed, people at the NHS, if it's too expensive to save you, they let you die, which is pretty hard in the NHS, isn't it? But there's something in that kind of makes me think about, you will help anybody. If you can get to a point where, the NHS has actually become a business, and so there's a thin line between what you're doing in a kind of charity angle and what you're doing in a business. And I would get a whole series of psychologists out there that have clients today could be your investors and partners on this, because a lot of them, they meet the people that need help, and they meet people that have money that need help. So they could be your investors, right? So someone, John on my network right now, saying, you know, he's someone that's gone through it, and he might well be wealthy and might like to support you by contributing and giving help and support and advice and financially invest, perhaps, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think, you know, building that community up, ironically, could also be your investor base. And then you don't need these idiot VCs that 9 times out of 10, and I met a lot of these people, I've sat in the room with a lot of these people, I'm actually probably accidentally invested with a lot of businesses with these people. They've got mental health issues and they fall into the third bracket, they don't realize it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not saying don't talk to these guys. I think you probably have to, but I'm just saying, you know, part of me wants you just to get your head down for the next 6 months, build that community, and that community could be your funding base.
Yeah, no, because part of me just wants to keep it as a, you know, totally socially enterprise driven mission, right? It could be a nonprofit, it could be a charity, right? And part of me is like, I want to scale it and help more people. You know, if you look at the likes of Calm and Headspace, right? They impact so many people.
Patience.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Gary V's word. For some reason, it's become Gary.
Patience.
Why is it a bloody word now? Yeah. It's just a word. I've been using it for years. Patience. You know, I really think that's part of you. I can see it in you, Stephen. I'm the same anyway. I can't preach too much. That's why patience is not my word this year. My word this year is impact. I know I want to help 1 million people start a business of their own and do well. People like you do well. I'm impatient for that. But I feel you. I know you're not. It's not easy to be patient, Stephen. But I think with what you're doing, it is actually so meaningful and so big that you just need to spend quite a lot of time on the foundation of this house. You know, and I think if you do it right, if you get a lot of experts in, they could be your investors, and then you don't need anyone outside the community that's just about money and doesn't even understand mental health to be involved in a business like this. John, who I just said should help you, just said I'm not a millionaire, so just bring out the ability to invest. I think he's saying, but the point is, you know, ultimately, there are people out there. It's not about a million pounds being into your business. If you got 1,000 people all in the mental health care space to join you, and they all put £5,000 in, you'd be well on your way, right? So I think it's not that your crowdfunding, you know, that base of crowdfunding would just be amazing. That community would be amazing, and I think if you focus on that for the next 6 months, you will have people queuing up to invest in you. Don't chase them. The best sales are the ones where they chase you.
Yeah, no, I'm spending a lot of time in Clubhouse, just talking to people, you know, seeing how I can help them. And actually, you know, stepping back, sometimes people don't just need mental health help. You know, they just want to talk about their ideas. And, you know, me being an app designer, you know, I'm just trying to help them like you. I'm helping them kind of, you know, formulate their idea and make it from an idea to, you know, to putting on a paper. So I'm kind of just helping them as well. And yeah, just seeing how I can help and serve people. And in a way, subtly, I'm you know, kind of helping them with their mental health, even if they don't know it. To me, that kind of
Stephen, that approach, I find with men and women are very different. We know that. But what I'm discovering as I'm helping people with businesses, when I help men and women, one of the differences I see is that men, when they've got a reason not to make a business work, what I've noticed is it's often something to do with their childhood, but they don't even recognize that. It's something to do with their mental health, but they don't even recognize that. They just see that they have a business idea, but they can't make it work. They can't see, it takes time. And I end up having very close to mental health conversations with people like, you know, what is your limiting belief system? What happened to your parents that made you think that starting your own business was more dangerous than working for someone else? Starting your own business is less dangerous than working for someone else. You're in control when you have your own business. When you work for someone else, they're in control. So what happened to you? You know, what did your parents tell you? Get a job, get a job, get a safe job, get a safe job. You know, what happened to you? You know, like it's mental health there, right? Women, however, often, and I don't want to generalize too much, but women will come on, they're doing their businesses because of their mental health issues. You know, they had a problem. I just talked to someone a few days ago who's starting a business helping people with their other women with their periods, because she went through a trauma because of her periods, right? So she's now starting a business based on her trauma, right? Whereas men seem to not be able to make their businesses work because of their trauma. And part of why I'm saying this to you for is because I think there is a business on top of my top of what I'm doing, where a lot of people come to me wanting help, and by the end of the conversation, I can tell them how I can get a horse to water, but I cannot make it drink, right? I can tell them all the insights on how to start a business, but their mental health is not there. I'd love to have, you know, an app or a system or a way of saying to them, here's what you need to plug in. You need to go see this psychiatrist, a digital psychiatrist for 3 months, because you've got the ability to make this business work. You've got a good idea. You just can't make it work because you have limited yourself. You've limited your ability to think big. You've limited your ability to believe. You've limited your ability to share your idea because you think everyone's going to steal it. You know, and all of these things that people end up having a subconscious bias towards that stops them making the business work, right? By people not sharing their ideas publicly, no one then reaches out to help them, and their business idea doesn't work, right? That I see more in men than women again, right? There's a paranoia there. It's like, okay, everyone knew the social network idea. It was MySpace was already there, right? Facebook just invented it. So that was nothing to do with the idea. It was the execution. Yeah. It's always about the execution.
Absolutely. So true. Yeah, no, when I was in Clubhouse, I was speaking to, like, you know, let's say 10 people, and nine times out of 10, they were all saying, they were all cautious. They were like, oh, should I tell you my idea? Like, are you going to help me? Are you actually going to provide value? Are you going to steal my idea? Like that's such a common, you know, misconception that, you know, if we don't share idea, you know, it's not gonna like hurt us. It's only gonna benefit us. It's only gonna give us feedback. I think it's such a, you know, important point here about, you know, mindset, about learning and growing. And I love the concept of Kaizen. Have you heard of it? It's Japanese word for constant growth, constant improvement, self-improvement. So I just find it so fascinating. Yeah.
The Japanese are so wise, actually. Some of their sayings are my favorite, like rolling stone never gathers moss. You know, like, this is something I always remind myself of. You know, you always want to jump to the next thing before you've actually, you know, consolidated what you've got. You know, like it's yeah, totally. I hear you. Yeah, it's well. Look, I mean, it's a pleasure to talk to you, Stephen. I love this energy and I love what you're doing. I'd love to see you succeed. And so do let me know what I can do to help you next. I think we are chatting again soon, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I've got more to talk about, but and more to learn from you. So let's call it a night. And I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for the patience and timing up tonight. And maybe let's jump on Clubhouse next time and hang out there a bit. Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
All right. We'll do something on there together. Why don't you do that?
Yeah, I'll set it up. Let's do it.
All right, mate. Well, a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck with it all, yeah? And let me know if I can help. And John, reach out to me with your contacts and I'll connect you with Stephen. All right, mate. See you. Bye. There you go, guys. That's our broadcast today. We got there in the end. I know it was a bit of a slow start. I'm pretty sure no one's going to watch this video back later. But in case you do manage to stick out the first 20 minutes where I couldn't make it work and listen to these amazing entrepreneurs and hear their stories and hear what they're trying to do, if you think you can help them in any way, please drop a comment below. If there's anything I can do to help you start a business or grow your business or innovate through this difficult time, then please do reach out via TikTok, via Instagram, of course, via my website, simonsquibb.com. I will do my very best to help you. I'm now going exclusively live on TikTok now to talk to the folks there that have been patiently waiting for me. We have a new podcast going live on Thursday, so feel free to join us for that. We will be live again tomorrow around lunchtime, UK time. So I think about 2 p.m. GMT. We have a very special guest coming on who will be sharing their knowledge. And then we have another startup coming on to share their problems and we'll be helping them. So lunchtime tomorrow, feel free to join the broadcast. The link is up above, I think, or you'll find it on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Simon Squibb. If you know anyone out there that needs help with their business or needs any sort of entrepreneurial training or guidance, We are absolutely free. We never charge anyone for anything. We're not upselling anything. We're not asking for anything. We're just trying to help people start a business. We're just trying to help people grow their businesses right now. So if you know anyone, please hit the share button. Send them the link to any of the broadcasts that you're listening to right now. It would mean a hell of a lot to me. If any of the stories you heard tonight, any of the questions asked by the entrepreneurs tonight, the questions you've heard your friends ask about their businesses, please send them the video today that you've listened to. It will now be live on YouTube. You can get the link from there. Of course, you can grab it, I think, from Twitter and retweet it. Let me know what I can do to improve these broadcasts too. If there's anything I could be doing to increase the impact of our service to help people start a business or grow a business, let me know. And if you want to join our community, if you want to be a part of what we're doing, then please reach out on simonsquibb.com and let me know. Equally, do follow me on TikTok. I think I'm most active there. YouTube is starting to take off, so I appreciate everyone who's listening on YouTube tonight. Facebook is, to me, not working right now. I need to get someone on board to help me fix my Facebook, because I just feel like I'm having to pay to play. And if I'm doing stuff to help people for free, to pay to reach my fan page just seems ridiculous. So if anyone out there is an expert on Facebook and wants to help me fix the problem where no one can see my stuff on Facebook, I'd really appreciate it. But thank you for those that are able to connect and listen and contribute. John, your comments tonight have been awesome. Christy, it's nice to see you. I want to say thank you, of course, as always, to Talia, to Ryan for joining and helping. Carl, nice to see you join for the first time. And Bullet, as always, wonderful to see you sharing the live, sharing the broadcast. I really appreciate all the support of all you guys. Great to see Mark for the first time on here joining the chat. Thanks. Raymond, nice to meet you. Gary, I see you guys. And thank you for joining tonight. I'll see you again very soon, hopefully tomorrow at our next live. Good night.